Welcome to the K-Files. Hey, JP.
Good morning, Miss Sandra.
You are purple and I am pink.
Look at that. I hadn't even noticed that.
I know. You would think it was Easter.
Yeah.
But that's gone. And it is summer, and yes, we are wearing summer clothes, and I can't wait for some rain to come. Fred says it's going to rain and rain for a while, 2 or 3, 4 days, so off and on probably. You know how those little thunder. I love storms.
I do too. Some good sleep, good
Yeah,
rest.
don't give me no hurricane,
Yeah.
but not like Fred. Now, he likes to fly. He wants to fly in a hurricane really bad.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah,
He
that's
can
what
have
I
it.
said. But
We need some rain. The farmers
yes.
need some rain. The ground is hard around my
Yes.
house. The farmers need some rain desperately.
Do you grow tomatoes?
This is the first time in years that I don't have a garden. So
You don't have a garden? You're not going to be bringing me any vegetables.
I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to try to bring you some tomatoes, but they won't come off. And I know it's the kind I got, but they're little. They're not the big boy, better boy, whatever they are.
Now I can bring you some from Freddie Howell. We live on the same road.
Well, I buy from Freddie Howell. That's who I was buying them from until mine got ready. Freddie, I will not be purchasing any tomatoes right now, but I do get everything else from you, and if you don't get me some okra in there, I can't get there early enough for the okra. You know, I get there, I love it, and the okra, and I get there in the mornings, oh, it's gone, because it's not as plentiful, I don't think, as some of the other things, and nobody has it, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So anyway,
Do you ever make it to a store?
Well, yes.
I'm talking about the store in Middlesex.
Oh, there's
where
store.
he has ice cream, and they have ice cream and cheese and sausage.
I've heard about
hamburger. Yeah, it will. If you think his setup is all of that in Rocky Mount at Farmers Market, you need to go to his store.
I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to Middlesex.
Yeah, they have bread, fresh bread. They have everything you could think of. Banana splits. We usually go on Sunday afternoon and get ice cream.
That
Very
is
good.
great.
Very good. It's right up the road.
I'm going to venture out.
You need to do that.
I am going to go over there and check it out. Well, do you have some rescue squads over there now?
No.
No.
And let me say this too. A lot of people saying, well, they got rid of the EMS director. What people need to understand is the EMS director, he works for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And I did have some friends, very good friends, that quit this past week.
Right.
Because they were told, hey, you got a pay raise coming. It's going to be a big pay raise. We've done this, that, and the other with salaries. They got their check and could not even tell
Oh, wow.
that they got a raise.
Well, I knew that they did not get as much, I don't think, as
Well, what they done is they changed the pay grade. They changed the classification, but they didn't give them the money in the new classification to give them a raise. So they couldn't even tell it.
Wow.
And they were like, that's it, I'm out. And they've gone to Wake County, where they just hired roughly 100 EMS employees.
Well,
And you can't blame them.
yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, Rocky Mount's getting a lot of people's police officers, from what I understand, a lot of different communities. And I watched Clee beg for 5%. Pitiful. 5%. He said, I'm not asking for 19%.
Yeah.
Like Nash County and some of the other counties. I'm asking for 5%. And he had such a compelling presentation. Did you see that?
I did. I watched part of it. Yeah.
While
And
you're
it's
at
almost
home
like
on
people
July
could care
4th
less.
cooking hamburgers, guess what? We got you.
Yeah.
We got you back.
Well, I've had some people say, well, look, JP, there's more departments at Nash County rather than, EMS and the sheriff's office. I said, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. And I'm just going to use it as the tax department open 24/7, 365 days.
Do they
No.
knock on people's door and don't know what's going to be behind it when they get there because you're already trying to serve a warrant or you're already in bad circumstances? No.
And I'm not knocking any Nash County department or any government department, but law enforcement, fire and rescue, they don't close at 5 o'clock and go
Right.
home.
Right.
Tonight when you sit up in the bed at 2 a.m., take comfort in knowing Nash County has law enforcement, fire and EMS personnel in place to respond to you. Now, they might have to respond from a different part of the county.
Right.
But there's somebody in those positions
Right.
24/7, 365. When you're enjoying Christmas morning with your family opening gifts,
That's right.
these people are at work. You know, when you're having Easter Sunday at church, these people are at work.
And let me just say, saying goes, and you know, we all talk about EMS and we all talk about law enforcement, and that is great, and that is so true what you just said. Don't forget your nurses.
That's exactly
Don't
right.
forget your nurses.
Your
and your medical
telecommunicators.
staff and your telecommunicators. Same for them. I mean, they've got to go in the snow. How many times a friend of mine used to pick up on his truck, he would pick nurses up during snowstorms and
And a lot
take
of times
them
they can't
to
leave
work.
work because they can't get
Yeah.
back the next
Yeah,
day.
some
So
of
you
them
have to
spend the
live at
night.
work. That's right.
They spend the night in the hospital. So all of those included. So
Those detention officers over at the sheriff's office, if they can't get back to work the next morning during a hurricane or snowstorm, they have to stay at work.
yes, absolutely. And you know, Clee really got my attention with that presentation when he said one of my jailers got beat up by 3 murderers. Separated shoulder, he is out. And he makes this.
And it'll probably affect him the rest of his life, that injury.
Yeah. So, you know, all of these things, when you listen to them, you know, we take them for granted. We don't think about it. We go on about our daily lives until something happens like this, or a presentation is made that we listen to and we say, wow, and it hits us right in the face. And that one kind of did. But anyway, we hope all this can get straightened out, and I don't know when it will, how it will, but anyway, as I said, I'm glad the kiddos are getting free lunch.
You know what? I've always said as much money as farmers get from the government, and I'm not knocking farming, you know, my folks farm.
Right.
It should have been free.
Yeah.
As much resources as agriculture gets from the government,
Yes.
there's no reason that any child, I don't care if they go to public school or private school, has to go through that line, and they all should get a free meal. My sister was a school teacher, and she said, James, you know, when I first got into school teaching, if a child went through to the line and didn't have money, even though that child had made that plate, and didn't have money, they would take that plate. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I'd be wearing orange.
I would too.
If that was
is
my
wrong.
child.
That is not that. The fact that that child is in circumstances other than what your child might be in is not their fault.
Yeah.
That is not their fault.
I've always advocated, Middlesex a few years ago experimented, they got some kind of a grant where it didn't matter if you were rich, poor, black, white, Chinese, every child that went to that school got free lunch.
Yes.
And I thought, you know what, that's neat. I like that because I remember going through Southern Ash School. You might go ahead of me and your lunch was free. Well, I knew it because I didn't see money change hands.
Right.
Well, then when it got to the next person, it might have been reduced. Well, when it got to me, I might have paid, you know, whatever. And I thought, you know, that could be, I could see how it would make you feel bad.
Oh,
that
absolutely.
You got free lunch.
And you know, people, some of the kids are going to say something.
That's exactly
It's
right.
always going to be that bully that says, oh, you get free lunch.
Children
What's
can be
wrong?
cruel.
You get free lunch. Yeah, they can. And so no more of that. Everybody's on the level playing field. Everybody can go through the line. You don't need a ticket. You walk in the lunchroom and you get your plate and you sit down and eat it. And I am so happy that this day has come in our county.
Yeah.
Counties, I guess Edgecombe County's that way too, because
Should be that way
it's
nationwide.
it should be. It's USDA.
I don't care what your background is or anything else. You know, you should get free lunch.
Yes.
All children should get free lunch.
Absolutely. So, anyway, that is good news. That is a good report that we can bring to you this morning. Always glad to bring good news. You know, we've got some things going on with. And speaking of children, a 2-year-old in the line of fire yesterday or this morning. This is ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. But anyway, some hot and now, or a hot and now case that I was going to go over this morning. Let's see if I can find it real quick. I had it, but if not, we'll just go on with our book and we can bring it up later. But
was it Rocky Mount? Or?
I believe it was Rocky Mount. You know, let me see. Oh, I know what I was going to talk about. Yes, this is not involving a murder, but a friend of mine owns Small Shop Mall, Fred George, and he has high security, thank goodness. But when you go into a business, did you see the lady that just filled her pocketbook up with soap?
I hadn't seen that, but nothing surprises me.
Small Shops has individual little consignment shops, small businesses within his business. It's consigners. And this one lady in there sells candles and soaps and just wonderful candles and stuff. And this woman, and they don't have to be at their booth because the girl up front at Small Shops sells the stuff for you. If somebody comes in and buys something from your booth,
they know it
she will
belongs
help
to you.
It's numbered, and she just keys in the register your number. Okay, so she was in there. The person was not manning this booth. You don't have to. And that's what's good about it, because you have another job. You can do this on the side and not
It's
have to work
kind of like a yard
it.
sale and somebody else is administering it for you.
And this girl goes in and she just fills up all the soap. Golly, just tons of it, and steals it. Well, she has a little soap business on the side, so she's going to go sell it at her soap business. Well, you know, Fred had come on here as my co-host one day. He comes sometimes, and he told me, you better not come in my business because I have got some good security and cameras. I've got a good camera system in there. Well, he sure does, because guess what? You're a jailbird now. They arrested her, and I was so glad to see that. But you know what? If it's not yours, please don't take it. Do you really, with all the cameras now, do you think you're going to get by with it?
You know, the sense of entitlement now that I'm seeing across the spectrum, it's wild.
Yeah.
And, you know, they'll walk around with a $1,200, $1,500 cell phone and want to shoplift and steal. You know, I could understand if you had 2 children at home that were crying because you couldn't provide for them, they were hungry. You don't have a car, you don't have transportation, you need.
And what you took was food.
Food.
Yes.
Food. Okay, I get it. But there's enough safety programs in place now that nobody should be stealing anything from anybody. Nobody.
Right.
And I have, you know, I hope she's held accountable. I hope she's prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Ridiculous. Okay, well, that was our hot and now of the week. We kind of pick a case, you know, of the week and kind of talk about it now. Maybe 2 sometimes, depending on. There's so many, we can't, but we just select one. If there's a case out there that you see that you want to talk about, just let me know. Just let me know. Because we do get a good response to this program. But anyway, we'll be right back right after these messages, and we'll get into some of our cases in the book with our unsolved murders.
7/5/1990. 7/5/1990. I do want to take a moment, and I just learned of this yesterday. Former Sheriff Jimmy Grimes.
Yes.
Thoughts and prayers, condolences go out to you and your family in the loss of Miss Faye.
Yes.
I knew Miss Faye from working with Nash County Sheriff's Office. You would see her at different functions. Always had a smile, very pleasant to be around,
Yes.
very kind. So my heart goes out to former Nash County Sheriff Jimmy Grimes in the loss of your wife.
Yes, absolutely. And prayers for your family. from WHIG and all of us. Before we get started in our case, I just want to mention something, and we'll talk about it more next week on the morning show, but panhandlers in Rocky Mount, it's been a problem. We've had many, many calls. People are just tired of every corner there's a panhandler. And I have a theory that I was talking to the sheriff about one day. He said, well, your theory could be something to it. But I said, I believe these people are dropped off. They belong to, there's someone, they have a boss, and I believe he assigns places for them to be. I mean, I just can't believe this many people are just wandering out. I don't know.
Years ago, there was a radio jockey in Raleigh. His name was Bob Dumas with the G105, okay? He thought the same thing. They set up on him and watched him, and that's exactly what they were doing.
I just believe that.
Yeah. They watched him. He, the guy went through the edge of the woods. He had parked a Lexus, took his shirt off, put on a different shirt, and drove off like in a $60,000, $70,000 vehicle after he had panhandled all morning.
Yeah, see,
that's just wild and crazy.
I know.
But what I was telling you earlier, talking about shoplifting and things like that, and a lot of people may not know this, but like if you go to Lowe's or you go to your local Walmart now, you see this little device in the parking lot with a pole on it, and sometimes they have a flashing blue light on it. Well, that flashing blue light on that pole, it has a camera that is looking at everybody's face as they are walking towards the store. And if you have been charged or you have a reputation of shoplifting in Walmart or in Lowe's, it will recognize you in the parking lot before you get to the store and notify loss prevention inside the store. Okay, here comes John Doe, here comes Jane Doe. We have caught them stealing from us before. And when you walk in the door of that store, those cameras are programmed to follow you around the store.
Wow.
And kind of serve as an extra eye for loss prevention to watch you. Now, the crazy thing is some department stores have taken the policy of not confronting people anymore. That blows my mind.
It blows my mind, too. They're afraid their employee will get hurt. Let them go. They say, just let them go. Well, that is not sending a good message.
No,
because
it's not.
They know when they go in, heck, I can just go take whatever I want whenever I want.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I don't like
Don't
that.
understand that logic.
There should be some kind of policy in place. Mm-hmm. So anyway, it's not setting a good precedent. Mm-hmm. It's really not. But anyway, that is so cool that they do that they can see you before you go in. And
facial recognition technology.
The staff is alerted. The staff is watching you. The cameras are watching you. So anyway, okay. But what I was going to say is the city of Rocky Mount now, it is now illegal for you to panhandle without a permit. You've got to have a permit, and you've got to have ID. They're going to ID you, all of that. You've got to show identification to them so that they know who you are and which corner you're going to be on with your permit in hand. So that's good. Mm-hmm. Maybe that will deter some because they don't want to be ID'd. Right. They don't want to be identified. So it may deter. I'm going to start looking for the ones that I pass a lot and know where they are. I'm going to start looking to see if they're all still there or whatever. Now, they're terrible out on Bienvenue Road when you're turning into the Walmart parking lot. There's one on the little island, and there's something I forgot what the other rule was the city had that you had to be so many feet away. I don't even know if they'll let you be on those islands anymore, So all kinds of rules for them now. You got to abide by the rules if you're going to panhandle. So that's pretty good. They may not like the rules.
I wish people wouldn't give them money.
I know. Yeah. I mean, Tell them, okay, let me go over here to Taco Bell. Let
Buy
me go
you-
over here to McDonald's.
You know, our church, and most churches do this, we had a thing where, like, if you couldn't pay your light bill, our church would step in and pay your light bill for you, help you pay your mortgage, help you do different things like that. And my argument was, look, time out. If you've got somebody here that you know is struggling with addiction, you know it. They're struggling with, some other issues. And if you pay their light bill, all you're doing is freeing up funds elsewhere for them to feed
That's right.
their addiction. And that's just my personal opinion. And I know people say, well, they got children. Okay, well, help them children. Help get them in some type of a class to look after their finances, whatever. But if you are offsetting their expenditures to free up cash flow in their home, all you're doing by paying that light bill, you're not helping them. Because they're going to take those funds and buy drugs and alcohol and things like that.
Sometimes we are enablers.
That's right.
We really are. So, anyway, all right, I'll let you get started on some cases this morning, JP.
Okay. I believe we're on the Tony Grant case. This is from July 2nd, 1996. In the early morning hours, the Rocky Mount Fire Department was dispatched to a house fire at 628 Myrtle Avenue in Rocky Mount. When the fire department arrived and made entry into the home, they found Tony Grant, who was 47, in the hallway of the residence outside of a burning bedroom. Firefighters moved Grant outside, and that is when they found out that he had been beaten and burned. He had multiple blunt force injuries to the face and head, stab wounds, and burns around his body.
I don't want to be burned.
Me neither.
Oh my goodness
Me
sakes.
neither.
That is terrible. Terrible.
So this speculating, it sounds like to me he was attacked in his home. Sounds like it was a burglary situation. And the house was probably set on fire intentionally in an attempt to, displace evidence.
Wow. Okay. Well, if you know anything about this, Myrtle Avenue, which is off of Grand Avenue, 628 Myrtle Avenue, this is a long time ago. It's a long time ago, 1996. But I'm a firm believer, if you knew, you knew. If you know anything about it, you know. So, if you knew then, you know now. So, please let us know. We've got some money, some cash money for you, up to $15,000 if we can apprehend these people that did this, or person that did this. So, and the number's on the bottom of the screen, 406-6736. You can call Crime Stoppers, any of that, which is that number right there, 977-1111. And this is a Rocky Mount case, so you can also do text to tip. Just text. They won't know. They will not know who you are. So,
this next case is Nakia Shimon Bynum. Nakia Shimon Bynum. This case is from September 9th, 1997. Nakia Shimon Bynum, who was 21, was reported missing by her grandmother, who last saw her on August 24th, 1997. Further investigation revealed that another individual saw Bynum on August 25th, 1997 at 603 A Broad Street in Wilson, North Carolina. Nakia Shimon Bynum left her 18-month-old daughter with a sister, left home around 7 p.m. on August the 25th, 1997. On September 9th, 1997, a deceased person in a cardboard box was located off of Benton Road in a field in Nash County by a farmer that was tending to land. Later that month, it was determined that those remains were that of Nakia Shimon Bynum, which was matched through dental records.
It is amazing what they can do with dental records to me.
It is.
They can really do some work with dental records. They really can. 1997, this one's an older case. We're doing older cases right now, but you never know when something's gonna... This case is open. It's still open. And closure has not been given to the family. Her grandmother reported her missing, as you said, August 24th, 1997. And I know that grandmother is probably passed away now.
Yeah.
But she died not knowing what happened to her granddaughter. That's terrible. So anyway, if you know anything, Broad Street, Wilson, 603A.
You know, people usually, when they commit murder, though, they don't take the time to put them in a box.
That is a good point.
I mean, that's odd to me.
Yeah, that is.
You know, you start thinking about how many times you find a random body that's, you know, been disposed of or left in a dish. They're not in a box.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Anyway, this next case here is Constance Melissa Pender. Constance Melissa Pender. This case is from October 10th, 1997. Officers responded to the 1300 block of Phillip Street in Wilson, North Carolina, in reference to a body located in the woods near the train tracks. The body was that of a female, and she was later identified as Constance Melissa Pender, who had been assaulted and killed. And that's all the information that we have on that. 1300 block of Phillip Street in Wilson. Sounds like it's going to be downtown near the train tracks.
Yeah, it's got to be down in that vicinity somewhere. Wow. Well, Constance Melissa Pender, if you know anything, this is from 1997, folks. So if you know anything, completely anonymous. There's the text to tip, but that is for Rocky Mount. This is a Wilson case. You know,
but if that's all you got, they will get them the message.
Oh yeah, text them. Call the Twin County Crime Stoppers for any case. Any case, it does not matter. But we've got a lot of Wilson cases in this book, and I wish we could get somebody with Wilson on here. I really do, because we do have a lot of Wilson cases in here.
And we have reached out to Wilson County. We've made invitation requests, and you know.
We have. As a matter of fact, one of the officials, law enforcement officials in Wilson, asked us one time to not talk about one of the cases. And I said, you know what? This case is out there, and we're going to talk about it. And he was afraid we would hinder some investigation. I don't think that was the real reason.
Yeah.
I really don't believe that was the real reason. But anyway, but we will continue to talk about these cases. We're putting them out there. That's what we do. So anyway, it's time to go to break, get some weather, and then we'll be back with some more cases right after this. Okay, welcome back to the K-Files this morning. We'll get started with another case for you.
All right. I believe this next case is David Moody. David Moody. This case is from August the 22nd, 1998. Rocky Mount Police Department was dispatched to a shooting on the corner of Gold Leaf Street and Carolina Avenue in Rocky Mount. When on the scene, they found David Moody suffering from a gunshot wound. He was transferred to the hospital where he died of his injuries. August 22nd, 1998, the shooting of David Moody at the corner of Gold Leaf Street, Carolina Avenue in Rocky Mount.
Which is another area off of Grand Avenue. Carolina Avenue is right over there off of Grand Avenue. I mean, a lot of things are happening in that area. And, you know, Clee Atkinson said, I am really getting, we are just bombarded with calls that we're having to service in east side of Rocky Mount. I mean, just, and you know, this is a typical case right here that he was talking about. You know, there's just lots of them in that area in Rocky Mount. So,
is this near the cemetery?
Kind of, probably 3 blocks.
You
I would
know,
say 3 blocks.
I follow one of the YouTube channels out of San Francisco, and it just amazes me. Their newest thing that they're having to deal with is the homeless population is going into these cemeteries that have these big mausoleums, family mausoleums, and they live in them.
Really?
I think that is the wildest thing I've ever seen or heard of.
Oh, my word. I had not heard that.
Yeah, they damage the locking mechanisms like on the doors.
Oh.
And they actually go in and live inside the little open area, open space inside of family mausoleums. I just,
Goodness
that
gracious.
blows my mind.
That blows my mind.
It just, I could think of a lot of other places I'd rather sleep.
Yes, absolutely.
But, you know, anyway, I just found that interesting.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So Carolina Avenue, Gold Leaf Street, this happened in 1998. This is, you know, an older case, but if you do know anything, Rocky Mount Police Department is the agency, lead agency on this. It's their case. So if you can call that number right there, 406-6736, or Crime Stoppers, you can get some cash money, and you can get it quick, because in 2 days you can have money in your hand if an arrest is made. It's not upon conviction. Don't have to go to court. They just have to make an arrest that they think is the right one. So anyway, that's what we ask you to do. And if you would like to ever donate money to Team Cold Case, it is a 401c3 organization that all the money is put in back in to pay out on cases. So that's what it's for. I mean, that's what we're for. That's what the organization is for.
Or if you'd like a book, reach out to us. I mean, I'll see that you get one.
Here it is.
These
right
books
here.
are available. You could kind of go along with us, keep notes, things like that. Reach out to us, and I'll see that you get one.
Absolutely.
This next case, Terry Vernard Mitchell. Terry Vernard Mitchell. This case is from February 28th, 1999. Around 7:43 a.m., officers responded to 553 Nash Street East in Wilson, North Carolina, behind J&H pool room, in reference to a subject that was hurt. Officers arrived and located Mitchell deceased from stab wounds. Again, this is February 28, 1999, 553 Nash Street, behind J&H Pool Hall. Mr. Mitchell was stabbed.
I don't know where that is. I don't know. I've never heard of J&H Pool Room, but I don't even know if it's still there.
I don't either.
Because this is from 1999, but if you know where it used to be, if it's not there, this case happened behind there.
This is going to be down towards the train tracks on Nash Street. It's going to be closer to the Amtrak station.
All right.
With that low number.
Yeah, probably so. Everybody knows where Nash Street is. It's the main road that goes into, it's an extension of 58 that goes right on downtown. So it takes you right on downtown. And like you said, low numbers, 553. So if you know anything, if you see something, know something, say something, please. So, well, we've got a really short one.
This next one here is Melvin Eugene Avent. Melvin Eugene Avent. This case is from December 29th, 1999. Around 1:40 a.m., Melvin Eugene Avent, who was 19 years old at the time, was on the phone with his brother as someone was chasing him. His brother heard him say to the other person, "You don't have to do this," before he was shot and killed on the corner of Looper and Mullen Street in Rocky Mount.
I had skipped down to the next one. That's why I said it was a short one. But I skipped it. But, you know, we've talked about this one.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being on the phone with your brother? You're talking to him on the phone, and you hear him say that. You don't have to do this. And you know something bad.
It's about to you're
There's
about to
nothing
hear
you
something.
can do about it.
Yeah.
Because you're on the phone with him. You're not where he is. So, really bad. And then he was shot. He heard this. His brother heard this right before he was shot and killed on the corner of Looper and Mullen Street.
For him to make that comment, it makes me think that he knew the person.
Yeah, I mean, if you already suspect
Yeah.
that they're going to kill you, there
Who
had
are
been
you?
a
What is
problem.
this about? Blah, I mean, there's
Yeah.
other things that you would have taken the time
Exactly.
to say rather than, look, you don't have to do this.
Right. They already had a relationship,
Yeah.
probably, and he knew why he was
Yeah.
after him. So that's bad. But anyway, if you know anything about Melvin Eugene Avent, it's been a long time and the family has not gotten closure. So he was 19 years old at the time.
Now, the next one is extremely short, and we'll share the information that we have. Ramon Elias Matute Ortiz. This case is from August 17th, 1999. Officers responded to the 700 block of Black Creek Road in Wilson, North Carolina, in reference to an individual that was shot in the schoolyard. Black Creek Road, 700 block. So that's going to be probably between US 301 and the new 264, back that way to the left of
Right.
301.
Do you know where the school is?
There is a school down there, and there's a
Really?
park there.
I don't know that much about Black Creek Road, but anyway, Ramon Elias Matute Ortiz. If you knew anything, please come forward. We have very limited information on this one, so anyway, we will resume our cases next week. Start back next week with some more cases, so make sure you tune in. And you can also catch this if you if you know somebody that wants to watch and they don't get to watch in the mornings, Friday night at 7 o'clock. You can watch it, or you can go to YouTube. You can go to YouTube, WHIG TV's YouTube page, and you can watch the K-Files there. So anyway, thank you, JP.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. Y'all have a great week, and we'll see y'all back with the K-Files next Thursday.